living longer, living healthier, living better than ever before. Welcome to Mountain Pacific's Healthy Living for Life, a weekly series that gives you the information, education, and expert insight you need to become an active participant in today's ever-changing healthcare climate. Here now is today's program host.
We all know exercise and eating right help keep our bodies healthy and in shape, but did you know the brain ages with the rest of our bodies and needs a fitness routine too? Welcome to Healthy Living for Life, a show dedicated to helping you do just that. I'm Janet Whitmoyer, your host. Today we'll talk about brain health matters and how to help keep your brain young and in good shape. Stay tuned. Welcome back. Our brains change with age, and that means our mental function changes too. Here to talk about cognitive health this morning is Dr. Nanette Dowling. Thanks for being here.
Thanks for having me.
So let's start off by talking about cognitive health and really what does that mean?
So cognition really is the mental action of how we acquire knowledge and understanding through thought, experience, and our senses. It's really a complex array of functions and processes. Includes everything from how we acquire new information, how we remember what we already know, how we use language to communicate, how we make decisions, how we perceive the world around us. It's really a comprehensive term. And when this is functioning well, all cogs are functioning well, we get this exquisite symphony of the human brain, otherwise known as cognitive health.
Okay, so when brains are aging as we get older, what effect does that have on a person's mental health?
So in terms of mental health, that the brain is aging, we see significant changes over time. There's also tremendous variability.
Okay.
We can see changes in the chemical messengers in the brain. So things like serotonin, norepinephrine, dopamine, many of the chemical messengers, but also some structural changes. We can see some thinning of the margins in the brain, and this can affect our mood, obviously our overall cognitive function, the performance measures. We can see change in attention and memory over time.
Okay, so is this what you would call the term cognitive decline?
It's often referred to as cognitive decline, and there's much debate about that.
Okay.
What's normal aging versus decline?
Right.
Decline is really the process we're talking about. But I try to be careful here. I prefer to use cognitive change.
Okay.
Because there are also some things that we can see improvement in as we age. For example, the wisdom effect.
Oh, that's great.
or the calming effect. It's not all doom and gloom.
Okay.
We see some changes, like I said, in memory and attention and overall processing speed. But again, variability is the norm here. No two people age in the same way.
Okay. And so this might be an obvious question, but how is your brain health linked to your mental well-being?
So they're inextricably linked.
Okay.
The brain health, if everything is functioning very, very well, the chemical messengers, everything is working in that beautiful symphony, things are going well. But when we start to see toxic effects or a sum of problems within our cognition or the overall structure of the brain, it can affect our mood, it can affect anxiety levels, how we process information, and it also starts to affect our physical health.
Okay, I was going to ask you, how does it affect not only our mental health, but our overall general well-being?
So the overall general well-being, and this is what I like to call a bidirectional influence.
Okay.
If you have chronic illnesses, things like diabetes or chronic pulmonary conditions, hypertension, those can affect our cognitive function as well. We can see degeneration in some of the conditions. We can start to see increased problems with memory and overall executive function.
So what would you how would you describe the difference between cognitive decline and cognitive impairment?
That's a great question. Cognitive decline really is a generic term, also referred to as maybe normal aging, whereas cognitive impairment really speaks to the degree or the severity of the symptoms. Okay. So if you are having difficulty with short-term memory, with word finding, with maybe processing speeds, it becomes difficult to manage your daily life. Okay. So cognitive impairment is also separate from what we know as like a major neurocognitive disorder such as dementia. Mm-hmm. And the way we differentiate between the two is usually severity of symptoms. Cognitive impairment is sometimes reversible. So the key to well-being and health is that we want to detect these changes early, so that we can modify behaviors wherever possible, make sure that a thorough evaluation is done to get an accurate diagnosis. Okay. I mentioned that it's not all doom and gloom. Many habits and things we can do in our life to improve our health can affect our cognitive health.
Okay. So what would you say is the greatest risk factor for cognitive decline and impairment?
Greatest risk factor is age.
Age, okay. So how would you know, and I have time just for maybe one more question, how would you know if memory issues go beyond what would be considered normal aging and normal decline?
So going beyond normal aging and decline, I really encourage people to talk with their physicians, their providers, at any time there's concern as an individual, or if you're a family member who's noticing changes. When it starts to affect your ability to function day to day, if you are excessively worried about it, if you are asking maybe the same questions over and over again, getting lost on your typical routes while driving, or it seems like it's really getting harder to find your words. These are some of the common signs, but really ask early.
Okay, great advice. I think we're going to pause here and take a break, but coming up next, there are ways for you to help your brain health and slow down decline and even prevent impairment. Coming up next, we'll give you our top 10 list showing slowing down the aging process with your brain. Stay tuned. Welcome back. You've probably heard of a heart-healthy lifestyle. Well, there are ways to live brain-healthy too. Dr. Nanette Dowling is still with us and is going to share her top 10 list for brain health. Thanks for staying with us.
Absolutely.
So we're going to dive right in. Number 10 on the list is to live an active lifestyle. So can you tell us a little bit about that?
The greatest factor in supporting healthy aging, not just for your cognitive health, but your physical health is exercise. Okay. We have more and more studies that reflect how positive this effect can be on blood supply to the brain. It can help with reducing arthritis pain, certainly helps with cardiovascular function. It's really the go-to. It should be number 1, not number 10 on the list.
Okay. Well, so can you tell us a little bit about what types of exercise would be beneficial?
So the regular exercise routines, the recommendations are usually 4 to 5 times a week. Okay. And you don't have to go out running a marathon. Okay. As we're getting older, there's 4 main areas we want to focus on. You want to actually look at strength, endurance, balance, and then just an overall cardiovascular effect along with flexibility.
Okay.
So if you can do that 5 times a week, even for 20 to 30 minutes, the payoff is worth the investment and you start to feel better.
Okay. So moving on to number 9, which is get enough sleep.
Yeah, sleep is a major issue. So there's many functions related to sleep. If you have a disrupted sleep cycle, it can contribute to not only cognitive decline, but also it affects your mood. So depression, anxiety, managing our emotions, it is a key factor in overall wellness and also one of the top factors.
Okay.
So interestingly, hammering home the exercise issue, getting good exercise during the day can really help with sleep at night.
Can you give us a few other tips on how you could get really good quality sleep?
Yes, good quality sleep is start with the environment and develop a routine. You want to try to go to bed and try to get up at around the same time every day. If you are in bed and you can't sleep, don't wait for hours. Get up after 20 minutes. Okay. Reduce the amount of what I call blue light stimulation. Okay. This is a device era we're living in. So everything from TVs to our handhelds, our phones, that light can interfere with the production of a normal, healthy sleep cycle.
Oh, great information. Do you have any tips for folks that might be taking medications to help them sleep?
Be careful.
Okay. All right.
Talk with your physician, talk with your pharmacist about these medications. Many of them are habit forming. They're also, many of them are associated with increased risk for falls, can contribute to cognitive issues the next day. Really needs to be looked at in combination with your other medications. Sometimes brief use can help with the reset. But you really need to evaluate the risks and the cons of taking the medications. And if you've been on something for many, many years, get help getting off these medications.
Great. Okay, moving down to number 8, which is reduce stress.
Reduce stress. It comes in a variety of forms. Stress is a what I would call a powerful neurotoxin, a toxin really to all of our healthy body systems. So reducing stress is easier said than done sometimes, and really acting in a way to reduce that takes consistent daily effort. Okay. And we mentioned exercise. Again, I'm going to repeat this over and over again.
Good.
There's a theme here. But also forms of exercise which also help reduce can reduce anxiety level and also enhance your balance and overall function. Things like Tai Chi. Mindfulness is a powerful way to help manage your stress and really taking an inventory of your life. What are the things that are stressing you and what can you do to help reduce those and make those a priority?
Okay. So we'll move right along to number 7, eating healthy foods. So can you give us some ideas of what would help with that?
There's no superfood.
Okay.
I want to be clear about that. Eating fresh foods, reducing the amount of sodium you take. I mentioned how destructive hypertension can be, how important blood pressure control is for our brain health. So eating leafy greens, fresh fruits, the typical Mediterranean diet that you've probably heard so much about, which includes fish and higher in omega-3 content. Finding a good balance there with foods and reducing sodium. The average American takes in probably twice as much sodium as is recommended on a daily basis. So through processed foods usually and also eating out regularly.
Okay. Moving to number 6, it's cultivating relationships. So is that being social?
It is. Okay. That's one way of looking at it. So loneliness is the new major risk factor in cognitive decline as well as mood. It has a powerful influence. About 30% of our population are living alone. Older Americans are living alone. Living alone and loneliness, it sounds redundant, but they're two different things. If you feel lonely, isolated, withdrawn, those are risk factors for depression and can also really have a powerful influence on your cognitive function.
Okay, perfect. Well, I'm going to stop you right there because we need to take another break.
Okay.
We're not done. We'll be right back with the rest of Dr. Dowling's top 10 tips. Stay tuned. Thanks for staying with us. We're still talking with Dr. Dowling and continuing her top 10 tips for brain health. Okay, so we're down to number 5, which is maintain your brain. What do you mean by that one?
Stay active.
Okay.
Really get involved. It's not about just getting off of the couch, but stay active with your brain. Okay. Write. The more you use your neurons, the more they stay active, and we help with neuron loss. That helps to improve their function overall. Okay. So find things that you enjoy. If it's coloring, writing, drawing, listening to music, perform musical instruments, stay engaged as much as possible.
So my crossword puzzle every night is a good thing to do.
It's a good thing to do,
Perfect.
And it should be fun. Yeah. And I also recommend trying new things.
Okay.
So be brave.
Okay, great. Okay, so the next one is practicing prevention. What do you mean by that?
So practicing prevention, there's the obvious factors that we know with promoting public health, like wearing your seatbelts when you're out driving, wearing your helmets, not just in later life, but across the continuum of life. We really want to protect your brain from having injuries. Okay. And the other preventative factor that I like to emphasize is taking a look at the bathroom cabinet. Oh. So if you have over-the-counter medications, older medications, part of prevention and staying healthy is periodically going through and getting rid of things that could cause problems down the road.
Do you have tips on how people might be able to avoid falls or do some fall risk prevention type of activities?
So the exercise, those 4 areas that I mentioned, maintaining your strength, most important muscle group in the human body to keep you out of a nursing home is your quadriceps. Oh. Quadriceps, if we don't keep up our strength there, it's difficult to get out of bed. It's difficult to get out of a chair. If you fall, you can't get up. Okay. So using those are key. The other thing about prevention is if you smoke, get help quitting. Okay. If you are drinking, make sure it's within recommended limits, and you may also need to cut down because how our body metabolizes alcohol as we age really changes with time.
Oh, that's good to know. Okay, so moving down to number 3, that's take charge of your health.
Yes.
So I think you've explained some of that to us, but can you tell us a little bit more about that?
So the other aspect of take charge is really, I encourage people to be stewards of their own health information.
Okay.
Keep a record that you are in possession of, or if you have family members who have cognitive impairment, keep a record book of their medications, things that they've had done. Taking charge so that you're in control and can advocate for yourself each time you go through the healthcare system. There's fragmentation if you're seeing different providers. Doctors are definitely not perfect, and the system can have issues. So taking charge, keeping ownership, knowing what your health conditions have been, helps us at each point of contact in the healthcare system.
That's super information. Okay, going down to number 2 is making community connections. Now, is that different than us going out and being social?
It's a part of us being social. What I really mean here is taking a look at where you live. It's not just about your own personal health, but reaching out, getting involved, volunteering, or if you see some people in your community who may be struggling, see what you can do to encourage not only socialization, but reaching out to provide more support. Okay. Encourage people to see their providers on a routine basis, to have the testing done if they're concerned about their health or if they're having mental health issues that could also be contributing.
Okay. And so for people that want to get out and volunteer, what advice would you have for what they should be doing or how they should be looking for the right volunteer opportunity?
Do what you love.
Okay.
Do what you love what you do, right? So find things that really interest you, that are oftentimes something that's easily available. You can check with your local community centers, local aging offices. The library is often a good place to start. Faith-based communities like our churches or other organizations, or try something new.
Well, there you go. Okay, so we're down to our number one.
Yeah.
I don't have a drum roll, so I'm just going to say it. You say that we need to reach out. What do you mean by that?
So reach out, I've commented on, be an advocate for not only your own health, but also to advocate for those. If you notice family members, friends, neighbors who seem to be struggling, don't be afraid to say something.
Okay.
There is a stigma against not only aging, but against cognitive decline. It's a fear that people have, and it prevents us from getting the help that we need. Okay. If you can intervene early, and there are a number of places along the way in life where we could reverse cognitive decline. Okay. That's what we really want to do. Reach out.
Okay, and so for you talked about the stigma. What tips would you have for helping people get beyond that to actually do or get their loved ones the help that they need? So listening to programs, watching programs like this, stay educated, reach out to your providers, and also there's many community events in Montana, in Wyoming that are happening throughout the summer that can be good resources of information. Don't be shy. Okay. Well, you've provided us with a tremendous amount of good information and tips, and I just want to thank you for sharing your expertise with us.
Thank you so much for having me.
You're welcome. And thank you for watching. Be sure to come back and see us again next week. Until then, stay fit, stay well, and stay healthy for life with Healthy Living for Life.
Healthy Living for Life is brought to you by Mountain Pacific Quality Health. We'd love to hear from you. If you have suggestions for future programs, visit our website at mpqhf.org or call us at 406-443-4020. You can also catch us on YouTube by visiting our website and clicking on the YouTube icon. Special thanks to Fire Tower Coffee House and Roasters. Production facilities provided by Video Express Productions.